Gray. I'm a primary songwriter, singer, and guitarist for Alone I Stand. Ben?
Yeah, I'm Ben, like you spoiled. I play currently drums and bass for Alone I Stand, do a little bit of backup vocals, a little bit of like adding writing, but drums and bass.
Yeah, so like a two-piece, weirdly enough, even though I don't feel like we're a two-piece. I feel like we're four people just shrunk into two at this point, but yeah.
You could just
for
be
now.
you're like two small people like in a trench coat.
Yes, exactly.
That's how I imagine it to be.
Let's not think about that now.
And then everyone will be delightfully surprised, like when you guys play shows, and it's just like, oh wow, it's just two guys.
That would be great if that were possible.
Yeah, ideally we will not be two guys forever, but
Yeah.
we're definitely proud of what we were able to do with just two of us. For now.
Agree with that.
Honestly, like we can't see below the camera point, so I mean, realistically, you can keep up the facade that there's people that are underneath you, which
That's
sounds
totally true.
terrible
We
in
project-
concept, but you know, reality-wise, it
We're
makes sense.
actually sitting on Jed right now. He's live, using him as Jed.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I really wanted him to be the footstool, but he said no. He said no. Like have me sit on you guys. It's more degrading. And I'm like, okay, you say so, friend. If that's how you want to be treated.
I want to give a shout out to Jed. He was the one who brought us together. So big love to him. But
Thanks so much love.
Honestly, I wish I had recorded the first part of this because we went on a wild tangent about how Yu-Gi-Oh's main antagonist, Maximilian Pegasus, is arguably one of the best like antagonist names in, I would argue, a TV show. So you know, let us know in the comments if you can find a better one because I'd like to know. The first question I have for both Gray and Ben, like, I know a little bit about your band, but I'm sure a lot of people don't know the whole thing about the band. But, you know, how did you guys kind of start out Alone I Stand? How'd you guys meet collectively? And, you know, how did the band kind of formulate?
There's a condensed version of this, but there's also like I could go into like the huge Alone I Stand lore.
Do it. Do the lore. We're about the lore here. Give me the lore.
Okay, so this is a fun story. So can't believe I'm saying this. Okay, so Alone I Stand originally started in high school as my solo project, and this was.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this was my solo project back when I was making like strictly like electronic music and just kind of like screaming over it, just like screaming like the Lotta Spew guy over it. I thought it was super cool at the time.
Fair enough.
At the time, it was.
It was cool. It definitely was cool. Like there are people that like hit me up about that stuff like years later. I'm like, yo, that stuff was really cool, man. I'm like, what? How did you hear about that? That's cool. I was like,
I thought it erased it all off the internet.
Yeah, no, it's gone now. Anyway,
Okay, there you go.
It's not on my. It exists, but it's gone. Anyway, it started as that, and like the origin of the name, kind of. Yes, I decided I'm gonna say this. Is there was another band going around in our school called Together We Fall, and at the time I didn't super like the guy who started the name Together We Fall. So I, being like admittedly an asshole, I just decided Together We Fall. Yeah, Alone I Stand. That's where it's at. So it was a joke at first. Alone I Stand was a joke. This was before music existed. This was before anything.
That's awesome. I love that.
All of a sudden, so his band at the time was playing in this backyard show. What's Fluffy? Shoutouts to What's Fluffy.
What's Fluffy?
So they were this super cool at the time, like emo, like kind of ska indie band. It was super cool. I really dug it at the time. Like I was their fanboy. So I eventually got the guy that was like starting that show. I was like, hey, dude, Alone I Stand. That's going to be a thing. And like no one knew I was like actually making music at the time, but I was. I had like 2 songs at that point, and I was like, here, let me perform. And he was like, okay, if you're actually going to do it. And I did. I was in a backyard, and I just started like screaming over some electronic beats, and it was like it was super cool. Like apparently that performance impacted a lot of people that were there. Like, yo, that was. I got a lot of compliments.
I feel like the people who like something like that, like they really like something like that. Like I feel like it's niche, but it's a really, if something like that is something you're interested in, you're gonna be thinking it's like the coolest thing you've heard in a very long time. And a lot of the bands from our high school, I'm not gonna like say them by name, but like they were fine. It's a lot of like pop punk, fine.
Yeah.
You know, bands that kind of, you know, they're fine. They're gonna be. I didn't feel like a lot of it really stood out. I think ours, What's Fluffy, was like a little bit different. And then, like, that was especially different. And I think that and it worked. And like I said, if you like that, it's really awesome. And I love that. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, so that was that at the time. That is exactly that at the time, and that's what helped me stand out and whatnot. I didn't like get like a following or anything from it, but like it was cool. It was cool to have people being like, "Yo, this is cool." Fast forward, I made a few more songs. I changed my name. I went under like a different album. I made my first full length, but this was all still electronic music at the time. And
Okay.
I released that, and the TLDR is I released that, and I thought it was fine, but like I got a comment, like you know, one of those mean comments because I was like talking in a forum about it with people, and he was like, "Hey man, you," I was like talking about how I just programmed all of the instruments in FL Studio using you know just a DAW, and I was like, you know, and he was like someone made a comment on my playing, and I was like, no, I don't play, I just use the DAW, and he was like, well, you need to know how to play an instrument if you're actually going to make music, and I don't know, there was just something about that comment that infuriated me, and I was like, first of all, it's not entirely true. I mean, I don't know. You need an ear and like really at most you need an ear. You don't even need theory technically, but you know, a bunch of people are making music without it. You know, they have a computer these days. That's all you need. But anyway, that comment infuriated me, and it really hit me. Like that wasn't the music I wanted to make. The music I wanted to make my entire life was some like post-hardcore like you know guitar like full band shit. And at that point it hit me. Like I need to do this. I need to do this myself. I need to be the person writing the music. I'm going to learn guitar. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to start Alone I Stand. Or I didn't know I was going to call it Alone I Stand again, but I knew it had to be like a full band thing.
Sure.
So okay, we're coming to the end of this. Don't worry. So
it's all good. It's all good. Take your time.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're good.
So I decided this in like late 2018. I bought the guitar in 2019. I knew I didn't have time to play it until I got a job. So I had to get a job. So I like dabbled a little, but I didn't like actually start learning guitar until like the end of 2019 when I moved to Virginia to start my first like actual big boy job. So I think it was November 1st, like to the date, November 1st, 2019. Starting then, like every day, it was just like go to work. Then after work, 3 hours of guitar, like every day. And,
wow! Holy shit.
On weekends, 6 hours. I feel like I still don't have enough to show for it. But like you know, I did this in secret. I didn't want to tell anyone because like I felt like I don't know. I felt like see your face right there is perfect. So I didn't tell anyone because I felt like I don't know. I didn't want to be one of those people like, hey guys, I'm learning guitar. I'm gonna start this cool band thing. I'm like, yeah, Grayson, that's cool. But like I wanted something to show for it. You know, I wanted to be like I didn't want to tell people until I was like, this is good. Like this is actually good. So fast forward to summer of 2020 when obviously I gained a lot of time thanks to working remote and whatnot.
Wonder why that is.
So things just conveniently. Yeah. I don't want to say anything. I can't say.
Oh my god, time! Holy shit!
Seriously though. But eventually, after I started, you know, actually learning how to like tap a bit and like whatnot, I was like, okay, I feel comfortable enough with this. I can show my friends. So I showed Jed because I was like, Jed played guitar. I had questions for him, and then I showed Ben like a month later.
I want to just jump in on that because, like you said, he did it in secret. I've known this person for a very long time. I've known him and Jed since elementary school.
Yeah,
very cool.
And he's always been a really talented person in terms of his ear. Like him and I would just talk about music, and I don't know anybody who spoke about music the way that he did and does. He just has an ear for it and like a lot of insight and the brain for it. But he wasn't playing. He literally. I guess the only musical experience like with an instrument was drumline with me.
Yes.
And then like one day we're at my house and he just
wait. Preface. We just watched like the Hail the Sun like live live stream. That was that day. It was a
awesome.
super dope day. It was
very
them,
cool.
It was them, Andreas and Kurt Travis. It was
the first time I heard Andreas. That was really
that was a dope virtual
Andreas
concert.
is my boy. I love that dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shout out to Andreas.
Yes. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
He was awesome. That was the first time I heard him. It was really good. And after that, we're just hanging out, and he's like, I gotta show you something. And I'm like, all right. And he like, pulls out his phone, and
Jed's here too, by the way.
Yeah, but Jed knows. So I don't care about that. He knew already. I was the one who
had to know.
And he just starts showing me a video, like it was like a compilation. I think it was like a bunch of videos together of you just playing guitar, and it got more and more impressive as it went. Like he was like started with chords, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. You learn guitar, and then it's like a little like crazier jazzy kind of chords. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then it's videos of him tapping, which included two things I'll always remember in that. It included a section from the One American Football song.
That's how it started.
That was the beginning part of it. It showed that, and I thought that was cool. And it ended with the beginning riff of one of our favorite songs from Invalids, which is like, I don't know if you know that bit. Yeah, there you go. They're like,
Yeah, it was like the first like millisecond of Sherman is Connector, and I was like,
and they're the most talented people I can name probably. I don't think there's anyone I could think to be like, yeah, there's people better than this. Like, it's, as far as I can think at the top of my head right now.
Yeah, they're pretty top
And I see this guy who I've never even seen hold a guitar more than to make an ironic joke of, I'm playing the guitar, and he played even a moment of like one of the greatest guitar moments in my brain. And it was just the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome.
And you could continue if you want, but like I was like,
thanks, buddy. No, that's it right there. And then ever since then, it was like, yeah, we're doing this music thing. At that point, I started, getting the songs that I had for the EP, like written out, like kind of tabbed out and whatnot. I would share them with him. He'd come up with bass lines and eventual drum parts and whatnot. I think I had like some watered down like drum parts to start, and he made them like actual good because this dude's been playing drums for like ever. Probably he's been playing set for like ever and like
12 years,
and like
14 years.
Ben's thing is like Ben's going to find some way to go like all out and make things super complex and crazy and whatnot.
Awesome.
And not everyone's going to appreciate that, but I appreciate that like so much.
It's kind of the same realm of like the electronic we were talking before, electronic, where like the kind of stuff I'm into of that weird, I'll say unnecessarily technical kind of stuff. Just
oh no, I'm about it. I'm in that lane.
Yeah, exactly. You're about it. You're about it. And I feel like that's gonna draw a lot with us in general.
It's like there's two camps. It's like one camp is like why, and the other camp is like. The other camp's like, yeah, hell yeah, this is sick, I love it. And there's like polyrhythms and like ghost notes, all right, sick. And then like
exactly. No, I completely.
Weird time signatures, yeah, let's go. That's rock, like.
We've always had, because I mean, frankly, I have to thank him for it because you've shown me like a lot of the music I like and like definitely like put me on my path. I feel I think post all of us learning of like. Algernon Codwater for the first time. I think post that, all of my music came from you showing me things and me finding stuff through that. So we've always had a lot of like, like very influences that could work together. Sure, and I think we always knew that if we were to make something, like it would make sense to do it together.
100%.
Because we have just so many things that we both like that work so well together. And I think we both have just different skills in what we look for in music that work really well together too. And I think are going to continue to work well together.
100%. Like complexity wise and like, just friendship wise too, like again, this guy's always been there for me, like with like literally everything. So like, I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing this with anyone else, at least the start,
I almost cried when it was that same day where he literally, after showing it to me, it was like, hey, I really want to make this. I would like you to do this with me. And I almost cried. Like that was an incredible moment. And here we are, like I guess like
that's
2-ish years later.
Exactly. That path changed our life. Almost 2 years later. That
2-ish.
Was about to be like it was September. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's the extended origin story. I apologize.
And here we are.
Director's cut.
Alone we sit.
Alone we sit.
I thought that was really cool. Like Jed. Shout outs to him. He messaged me and he was like, hey man, my friend Gray, he's been doing this for a while. He's starting like this band out. He released like a new record and like he wants people to like know about his band and take it seriously and stuff. Not that, previous bands weren't serious. It's just this one's like his baby. And I was like, no, I get that. I feel that, I know the vibes, and he was like, you'll like his story because he was like, he basically kept playing guitar a secret for like the longest time. And I wish I could have saved my reaction for like when he said that to me, like over the phone, because I was like, legitimately, I was like, are you fucking serious? Like this man fucking keeps this shit a secret. Like he was just like, I feel like you were just like opening up a chamber and then like you walked in and then you just like shut the door and then you like had like a little fucking candlestick and you walked down the steps and then you're just like, the guitar is just sitting like in a fucking basement somewhere. And that's why I was like, it just didn't make any sense. And I was just like, oh my God, this is actually so fucking cool, because very rarely do you get someone where they're just like, yeah, I want to keep guitar a secret, considering that like every fucking guitar meme is just like, guys, I'm going to play Wonderwall at Guitar Center, and then it's like, too gay, go to be
100%.
So like when he had said that to me, I was just shocked. I thought it was really neat, and like obviously kudos to you, A, for keeping a secret like that, because I feel like that's in and of itself probably very difficult to keep a secret of, and
When
two.
When you move away, it's much easier, and you're not seeing your friends every day. So that kind of
And then the second thing was, I had listened to some of this. I have listened to like a majority of the stuff that you guys have released thus far, and I was just like, if he had told me he didn't play guitar, I would have never thought that. Like that wouldn't have been like the first thought. And I've been playing guitar for probably as long as Ben's been playing drums for, and I was like, that kind of shocked me how like, and then you were talking about like, oh, I used to like go home, spend 3 hours playing guitar like after work, and then spend 6 hours like over the weekend. Like that type of dedication to like playing guitar and being really serious about it, like you got to give yourself a lot of credit for that, because it's wild. Like I don't think there's, at least for me, I don't know about you, like I think that just is at a high level of dedication. I think it obviously shows in the types of music that you guys play, because both of you are like peak. You guys got some talent. So I was like, I was impressed, and I wouldn't say very rarely I'm not impressed, but I would say like it definitely shocked me that like at how much talent there is with just two people in a band. That's what kind of blew me away.
I appreciate that so much, man. I don't have words right now, but thank you.
I mean,
Besides that,
it's a lot of discipline. I
Oh, 100%.
Like I mentioned drumline. I'm not going to attribute your like skill to that, but like our musical background was like the way he just. It was funny. That's what I thought of when I heard you saying about you brought a guitar. I'm like, that was our drumline schedule: 3 hours a week every day, or 3 hours a day every week, and then the weekends we had 6 hours. Like it was like that.
That did help with that.
Like you kind of had that mental fortitude already a little bit, like, and you need like that, and just wanting to do it. Like,
No, yeah, 100%.
Something you want to do, like probably since before I ever even would have thought of it.
Yeah, no, I've always this has been the dream for I think I knew it when I was a kid. I was like, I want to do music, but like then when I figured out the extent of it, which I think was in high school around when these guys were playing and whatnot, I'm like, no, this is what I need to be doing in life. Like, this is my thing. And now we're starting it, so it's really cool to kind of have made it to that point. I never thought me playing guitar would be part of the process, but now it is, and I'm so happy for it. Like, first of all, like just during quarantine, like obviously that's just an amazing thing to have to keep me sane and whatnot. Like I was kind of already on my schedule before that started, so like I just honestly felt like, okay, cool, I have more time for. I got to stop like glorifying guys that saying, ooh, cool, but like really genuinely though, it was like, ooh, more time for guitar. So that definitely helped out.
I mean, I think I said it to you, and you were. I didn't know, but you were learning guitar at this point, and I said, because I only picked up bass during quarantine, so I was going to do that. And when I said that, I was like, yeah, I mean, if you're not picking up an instrument in this time, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, and I said whenever he said that, but again, this is pre-knowing everything. Whenever he said that, I was like, dude, you're so right. I made it a point every time, dude. You're right. You're totally right.
I am right.
You are right.
We're still right.
That is so great. I think that's like the ultimate fade out, when you're just like, yeah, I mean, it would be really cool to learn an instrument. Meanwhile, like you're on the phone just fucking like doing this shit, and I'm like, I would be so fucked up after that. I just want to say, like, I'm gonna point out, if any of you friends learned how to play an instrument and kept it a secret from me, I'll go find out wherever you live and hunt you down. Like,
we're not serious people, really. Like, we joke around a lot, so I'm in shock at the extent that you're able to hold it together for something like that. Because, like, knowing us, like, shit would just come out. But
and
also, I think that, like, us being not so serious kind of, like, just alludes to the, like, how incredible it was even more. Like, incredible is the word. I really can't describe it any other way. Like, we went from, I haven't been in a band that I like really enjoyed the music of, like, and was really passionate about it since What's Fluffy, like in high school. Like, I've been like in random little projects since then, but it was like nothing that I was excited about. And I went from, yeah, it'd be cool to do something like that, to like my best friend approaching me with the skill and like, and I know I said skill that, but like the writing skill, like I think that is what's going to set us apart. Like you said to yourself, you don't have the hands you want to have yet, but they're already still incredible and going to be getting better. Just like I'm going to be practicing more, but it's going to be getting better and better. But I think like what will really set us apart is like he's a really creative songwriter, and it's incredible the kind of things he makes. It all feels different. I think this EP was so diverse.
Yeah,
Like there really is so much different elements to it, even like within each song, and you hear the influences, but it feels like its own thing. They have really, a lot of them have really great structure. There's a lot of good to come, and I haven't even heard everything yet. Like I haven't heard all the things that you have in your brain yet, but like there's a lot of good to come.
It's locked up there.
Thanks, friend, holding it together on the interview stream right now, but really appreciate that. Goodness.
Right.
Stop it.
I feel like Gray's just gonna start crying immediately, and then I'm gonna be like,
No,
I'm gonna title that, and the title will be like, the man cries. Oh,
True, it does. It is clickbait right there. It is good clickbait right there. It has to be genuine though.
And Ben kind of alluded to it because I'm curious myself. I always love asking this question because much like you guys, I'm a huge music nerd. So, obviously I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love music. But, who are you guys influenced? Who kind of got you started out, like, really getting involved in music, really, like, digging it? And then, obviously, who influences Alone I Stand currently in terms of the artists you guys are listening to?
I think my primary influence that's always going to be there is La Dispute. I don't know. I think that just kind of, I don't know. I don't think I have the same storytelling structure, but like I try to do that in my own way, even though obviously I try to take my lyrical influences from like everything, but like mostly my life. So I guess that's why it comes off as unique for the most part there. But like in terms of delivery and how he does it, like I don't know, that impacted me so much in like early high school that I don't know, like saying that is like my soul, like my biggest influence is it's the only thing that makes sense to me. I feel like it still comes across in this new stuff that in this current era of Alone I Stand right now, like still 100%. I think you'd agree with that too. But like I don't know, I super felt it, like especially when I put out my first song ever when I was that electronic band. I was like, yeah, I'm just doing I'm giving his type of delivery in my own setting, and now I'm making it my own thing through that. So that in terms of like, I guess vocal delivery, and I guess in terms of trying to make songs as emotional as I can. So that's the primary one. But like, again, just complex music in general. I love like Icarus the Owl comes up trying to weave like technical music into poppy structures. I love that. Most like modern post-hardcore progressive stuff is in there, like a lot of emo stuff. First band I ever attached myself to was like AFI. So like AFI, My Chemical Romance, I feel like that stuff is always going to find its way. More technical stuff like Protest the Hero, Invalids, what else? Like that stuff, I'm not even trying to say that like I think our music sounds like that, but just the idea to make music as technical as that and like throw in parts like that is always going to be up there. I think bands that do that in a more concise setting into closer what I'm trying to go for, like Hail the Sun, Stolers when they were a thing, stuff like that. Circa's always going to be up there. I think that covers the main stuff. Besides, like the basement emo stuff like that, like William Bonney, Old Gray, that kind of music.
Okay.
That's I can't think of other Foxing. World is a Beautiful Place. Yeah,
we're seeing them in like.
Yeah, we're seeing The World is a Beautiful Place in like 2 weeks.
There we go.
So yeah, I think those are the main influences right there for me.
Cool. Yeah. Ben, what do you got?
It's funny because like I feel like your early influences are really different from mine. Like when I think of my first favorite bands that I had, like my first band that was probably my own favorite band, not like a parent's favorite band that they showed me, was like Green Day. Probably.
Ooh, yeah.
Like I think Green Day was the first band I was listening to, and I think that led me down the path of like Fall Out Boy. I listened to a lot of Fall Out Boy. I listened to like Linkin Park. I was into Breaking Benjamin, which I feel like led me into like the Warped Tour phase eventually.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what transitioned me from that to like what I am really listening to now.
I feel like I got it for you.
I'm ready.
Ironically, this just happened to work out conveniently. I remember when this guy, we realized the Fall of Troy had more songs. It wasn't just FCP remix.
And that's probably it, actually. And it's funny, I don't even listen to them that extensively, but they're one of those bands that every time I heard them, I'm like, this is the new best song I heard. And I feel like hearing Fall of Troy for the first time beyond like what my initial impression was, really like made me understand what could happen to music. That's probably like what really made me like Hail the Sun so much. Like Hail the Sun is probably my favorite band. I feel like it all flips between like Hail the Sun, Icarus the Owl, sometimes it's Chan.
Ooh, yes, Chan.
In terms of like the music that I've always wanted to put out, and like how I think I like kind of play. I won't say play like them, but like play like the same kind of style where it's like a punk rhythm within all this other complicated stuff going on. It'd be like I Kill Giants.
Wow.
I think I
Ooh,
Kill
yeah.
Giants was looking at it now. I think that is probably my biggest musical influence before I started getting into like the more proggish kind of realm.
You know, they're up there.
And they're singing, and like I don't sing that much on this thus far, but like I feel like my singing style has always been very projecty, which like means that the type of screams that I think I'm confident in are like projected yells
Yeah.
that like turn into screams, and I feel like I get a lot of that from I Kill Giants, and like I really like my attempts to do things like that. Plus, I listened to a lot of like Front Bottoms, where he's not a good singer, but he'll sing his fucking heart out, and that's what makes him a good singer. And I feel like that's like a lot of the music I really like. If I'm going with the influences of right now, though, of like what has really influenced my writing, I'd probably say mostly Hail the Sun. I think Hail the Sun is probably my biggest writing influence right now.
That's a good answer right there, and I hear that. 100% hear
Yeah.
that. Definitely hear that in your drumming too. So there you go.
I hope so. We're working on it.
Donnie inspired. You know, we love it.
Listen, I've been saying that in like projects that are going to be out in the future, we won't get into it too early to even like talk about it, but like I want to be singing and playing drums, and I practice that now. Like I practice singing and playing drums because I just want that ability. So by the time it gets to that point, it's there. Plus, frankly, I like singing, and I like that I got to do. I love that I got to do vocals on this. Like my favorite part of this process probably was when you were recording vocals, and like I was like honored by this. By the way, he invited me over to be like, hey, help me with some vocal stuff. I don't think like not that I'm like a fantastic singer or anything, but like I've just been singing for a while. So like I was someone who I respect musically asking for my like inputs means a lot to me.
I didn't
Sure.
even know this. Oh yeah, I'm like
Yeah, that meant a lot to me, and I had a lot of fun like going over things. And honestly, that I think some of the best vocal parts came from that. I think about like an early line in Celica that like it was a little different, and then we tweaked it, and then you just fucking killed it.
Yeah, no,
So, like,
100%. Like we're definitely doing more of that next time. I think I think I was personally like on more of a time crunch this time when I just was like, I have this EP in my head for 2 years. I just want to get it out. And like I want some music out to the show. Like, hey, I've been playing guitar first of all. And, like, hey, so more of that. But like now that I feel like we actually have something, everything beyond this, I'm ready to like take time with. This guy is going to be there for every time. Like for as long as we're recording in our own homes. When we finally, eventually we'll make. Someone is going to want to be like, hey, guys, come into the studio with me. And I'll be like, oh, thanks so much.
Yeah, but even like if we're apart from each other, like if one of us move or something, we're still going to be writing together.
What are you alluding to there?
I'm just saying that there's not any like event that will make us not write together.
Yes, yeah, no.
Because like we just have a lot of developing to do together, and like it's this weird combination of I genuinely enjoy a lot of what I've added to this, but it couldn't have happened without what he put down there. Like when I think about my favorite sections of this EP, it is a really strong mix of parts that I feel like is drum led or vocally led. Like I feel like there's a lot of moments where we both shine and we both made room for the other person to shine, which is kind of hard to do when you're writing on your own for so long, to make it such a cohesive piece where everything gets a chance to show off without it kind of seeming like this ostentatious thing, which is also kind of an issue that people have with this kind of genre, where people feel like it's I only just learned the term riff salad like this year. Like things like that are like common, and it's hard. And I feel like you, despite that comment, you have found a really good mix as of I like adding to it, where it's like everything shines and everything has its moment without it feeling like, look at me, look at what I'm doing. No, like it all fits into what is happening, and that's the most impressive part of it all to me.
See, I can't say that without sounding pretentious, so I'm glad you think that.
Oh, I love making you not have to sound pretentious.
Thanks, buddy. Really.
There you go. That's what friends are for. I will say, and even Ben pointed it out too. Like, I think it comes down to like being able to have good song structure, and I feel like you said about the whole like Ben saying like riff salad, like not that that's there's a time and place for that certainly, but then also at the same point like I also feel like there's a lot of merit in being able to write a song cohesively and like still have like unique complexities on like how the song's written or how it's organized together. And so I feel like you guys again find that collective mix of like there's just, you know, there's like some chaos, but then there's also some like stuff where you're just like, okay, like that's really thought out, that's really well put together. And obviously it's not like 100%, but I can see where like the vision is going for the band. And so I'm like, okay, like this is baby steps, but like, you know, the next record is going to sound like this record, but like you know, better for sure. So
That's the
It's goal.
comment.
That's the goal.
Like the comment on that review that really stuck out was like it said something along the lines of it's messy, but it is incredibly clear that they know exactly what they want to do and are doing that to the best merit possible at this moment is essentially what it meant.
Yeah.
And it's like I felt that pretty hard because I'm like, yeah, I think I don't even consider it to be that rough, honestly. I think a lot of this stuff is very, very clean. Like, not to say that there's not more that could be improved in terms of like the way we things. Like, I hear things and I'm like, I would have wrote something a little different, as you're always gonna do when you move on.
Sure, yeah.
But like, it's the direction of this that gets me the most excited. I was like, can I add one more influence because I remembered something? We both heard the band Seder for the first time very recently.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. Like when we were seeing Fall of Troy.
So good.
We were seeing Fall of Troy and Seder opened up and I'm like, wow, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah, they're
like,
nuts.
It was so, and I feel myself in the things I'm like conceptualizing in my head, I see that kind of becoming a really strong influence as it goes forward. They're a great combination. They're a great example of like, yeah, there's like what someone, if you listen to in a vacuum, like this could be a riff out, but it's also just it flows, and like that's something I really want to continue.
It grew so hard. Shout outs to Seder.
Seder and Icarus are probably the two bands I can think of that do that, but make it flow perfectly.
You know, like I could show those bands to people, probably Seder more to a heavier crowd and Icarus to a lighter crowd. They like, you know, I feel like they would just groove to it. You know, they'd I don't know, but you can think about it if you're like us brain where you have to analyze everything, but you don't have to. You can enjoy it. You can just enjoy it.
It's just good shit. Yeah, I got you. And I feel like if like, and I was trying to like figure out like I said as I was listening to the EP, I was like, all right, like who are they influenced by? Like obviously I didn't ask Jed for this, you know, for the sake of the interview, but I was like who are they influenced by? Because I usually have a pretty good handle on it, and I'm glad you mentioned Seder because that was like one of the ones that I thought of initially. Or at least like, you know, going further, I'm like, okay, they're trying to like, you know, I feel like that's kind of like the next pathway at least. So them, I thought Icarus as well. I'm a big Icarus the Owl fan, so I was like, okay, vibes.
Favorite band in the world.
And then I was like, man, who else do they sound like? And I'm like, they gotta be. I was like, if Hail the Sun's not in that mix somewhere, I'll be very, very surprised. Because there's some stuff that I was like, okay, this, and maybe I'll coin this term, like, in Hail the Sun can certainly take it, but it felt very, like, especially with Ben's drumming, it had, like, this Donnie-ism about it, where, like, I'm like, okay, all right, like, he's trying to do something, like, Donnie-esque, I'm about it, you know, so, not that, like, again, it's not, like, okay, like, you're trying to steal something, like, it was just, like, okay, like, I could tell that they, like, listened to a lot of Hail the Sun and really just kind of like went through all of their discography and was like, okay, I like what Donnie does here, maybe like it might work in the confines of like the band itself.
I think what I've like taken the most from him in my drumming is two things. One, and this kind of like worked for me already, it's very busy.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Always been like that. Like my full percussion instructor used to like give me shit about it a little bit like that. I would like because you know I also played a lot of jazz, and in jazz you give a lot of space and like let it flow, and I was so bad at that because I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to accentuate everything and have everything like be part of it and have so much interaction, which is good for jazz, but not in the way I was doing it. It was much better suited for math and prog than it was for jazz. And then also he does like his phrases are longer. Like what I noticed a lot in his drumming, and I've really like taken that a lot. Like where I like especially I think about that the most in Valpurgisnacht, which is that like it's in 5, but really it's in 10 because it's a 2-bar phrase, and that's something he would do. like, and it just keeps it with an extra push, while like it makes it repeat without it feeling as much as a repeat.
Yeah,
And I like that a lot, and it gives more room for a change while still being in that structure. Like, I feel like that's what I take the most of his drumming. Like, there's a lot of changes, but it all fits into a longer set of phrases.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I can find I definitely can find the similarities in that. And like I said, you know, I was already on board with those three bands, and I'm curious to see where you guys, you know, go next, certainly, and the, you know, the new material that's going to be coming out. But in regards to the kind of a follow up to this question, you know, who are you listening to currently? What's on the Spotify? What do you guys have been spinning lately?
We just saw Foxing,
Nice.
so I've been listening to a lot of that newer album, which, funny enough, is very different than what they did and what we've been doing. But I feel like I've said this to him, that I think like somewhere where your voice does really well is in that realm of the way that I don't know his full name.
Connor Murphy.
I think you're correct. Yes.
The most Irish name I've ever heard. Wow. But I hope you see this one day. But like, I feel like the way you're really good at that element of singing, and I think he's done really well on that new album. So even though this newest album, Draw Down the Moon.
Yeah.
I feel like I could see your vocals going in that direction as well. Because you kind of talked about it, like wanting to cater less to what you had in your head and more to what you think your voice could excel at. And I feel like Foxing is going to be a good direction for that.
I'm cool with that. Very cool with that. Foxing vocals are phenomenal.
Yeah, Foxing for me.
Foxing, no, yeah, I love that show. Just in terms of recently, I don't know, I just try to keep up with all like new stuff that's coming out. I've been listening to a lot in terms of stuff that's come out this year. I just listened to that new Deer Hunter album, which is this guy. Like, I've been putting that off because I was like, oh, this is a Deer Hunter album. It's gonna be long. I have to listen to this in one setting. And this guy's finally like, dude, just listen to this. And I'm like,
which is backwards for us.
Yeah, no. It's normally I'm the one getting him to listen to stuff. So I finally listened to that the other night. That was phenomenal. Of course, it's the Deer Hunter, so like it had to be.
That's probably my favorite songwriter.
Yeah, no, he's
phenomenal. Casey's nuts.
He's like, seriously, the stuff that's going on in his brain, like I envy that. Like, so I'm on that hype train right now, and like we're seeing them next week, so that'll be great.
Oh, very sick.
Then the new Seder album's phenomenal. Totem.
Yeah.
It's really good. That's just them continuing to do what they do best. Still, they're keeping it on.
Even more refined, and it was already really refined. Their first album was already very refined for a first album.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Exactly. Big agree there. Some other stuff that's a little less known. This album came out earlier this year. I don't even know how we say this band, if it's FES or just Fez. They put out their first full length this year. They're a UK math rock band, and they're
that's the one with the girl.
The clarinet song.
Yeah, the clarinet song.
Yeah, no, they're super sick. If you like your math rock, if you like Delta Sleep or something like that, I feel like this kind of it's like a poppier that. So
okay, vibes.
Definitely recommend that. And probably my favorite album of this year thus far is probably the new no, it's not the debut. I didn't listen to their debut yet, but I just heard from this year. Peregrine, I think that's how you say it. Peregrine. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like they have this like Midwesty emo sound that like they just have this like your ideal Midwest emo sound. If you look at this album cover, it looks like your typical. It looks exactly like it's your White House in your green environment. It's your emo album. It looks just like the that Hotelier album, Home There Is No Place Like It.
It's still Midwest emo, but it's also heavy.
Yeah, no, they have they're bridging like emo. They have this like on like it's like a fifth song on the album, Exit USA. They're just putting blast beats in your like typical like Midwest emo music. I'm like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
The first song on that album, I think, is like something that I want to write something like it's Peregrine. Is that how you say it?
Peregrine. I'm not entirely sure.
Go listen to that House album. That first song really gives you the best idea.
I think the album is called like either The Awful Things or The Awful Things We've Done, something like that. But I think it's like the closer is like the titular song. That's phenomenal. Like they have a lot of good like slow burning songs on that too. Like highly recommend that. It's probably my favorite album that I've heard this year. Something else I'm listening to a lot of this year. Sorry, I just keep thinking of things. I got
That's
really
right.
attached to Glass Beach this year, and apparently they were like a big deal, when they came out or something like that. So like, I just listened to the first Glass Beach album by Glass Beach, and now my favorite song on that album is Glass Beach, which is the name of the band, and also off the name of the album that is the first Glass Beach. You know what I'm saying? But like, I've just been obsessed with that song in particular, and the first 2 songs of that album, and so those have been my relatively
Wait, you need to
recent
say
listens.
one more, because I can't believe you didn't say the band whose name I always forget, but I always think it's going to be Andrew Jackson Jihad. What's AJ? What is that? AJJ? AJ?
That's it. That is Andrew
Adji?
Jackson. Adji. Oh my
Adji.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So
They don't sound like Andrew Jackson.
Okay. I don't know what they're called. I don't know if it's Adji or ADJY. This was my album of the year last year. This is the best album I have heard in the past 5 years, like bar none.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's called The Idle Opus. It's like this love story within a story about like this alchemist who's like trying to bring back his twin or something like that. And the way he does that is like by observing this story of these 2 lovers, June and July. It's this big thing that I couldn't recite to you in the best way possible, but it takes influence from like, it's primarily like indie folk alt rock, but like it definitely has like its emo influence and whatnot throughout, and like it has like a 13-minute closer. It's a very long album. It's an hour and 30 minutes long, and it's
Sign me up.
best.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
ADJY Adji, The Idle Opus. It is the best thing I have heard in the past 5 years, and like I have.
That's why you needed to say it.
5 or 6 years now. Thank you for saying that for me. I've been thinking like recent, but I have. It came out like the thing. It has like a 7-part saga when June meets July, and like. That's when it came out. It came out on June 30th of last year. I'm like, oh my god, it makes so much sense. I put this album on, right? I put this album
hurts
on.
My head. I just want to say I am like, I think I'm having an aneurysm right now.
I'm gonna keep it going.
Okay, I'm gonna be dead by the time this is over with. So let's make it end now. You know?
Just go.
So I put this album on, fully expecting. This was like a Friday. I remember, like I was just wrapping up work, and I'm like, I was just like finishing stuff up. Like, I guess I'll put this album on, and I expected, it's an hour and a half. Like I saw the review. The review was on the front page of SputnikMusic.com. Shout outs to SputnikMusic.com, where I get all my music. But anyway, so. I just put it on because it had like a 5 out of 5 review. I'm like, those are very rare on this site.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll check this out. I put on like the first 3 songs, fully expecting to like stop it at some point because like it's an hour and 30 minutes long. I'm not gonna finish this out. I was just enthralled at that point. And I think I listened to like the first 7 songs thinking like I love this so much, I have to finish this. And it's one of those things where, okay, I burnt out at the time. I was like, because then the next 7 or so songs came on, and I was like, this is good. And then like it was like it felt good, but like it picked up for me again in like the last 2 songs. I'm like, wow, that was phenomenal. But like it still like took its time. I was like, okay, let me just listen to this album. Let me listen to this album more all the time, and I did. Sure. Like every week, I was like, it did that thing where I was like, I was obsessed with a new song every week. And
that's how you know it's good.
That's how I know
it's good. Yeah, I was gonna say.
It has never come out of my rotation since. Like every time I go back to it, I'm just more and more amazed. Another influence that they have these giant post rock climaxes, which is the best thing in the entire world. And I feel like that's what really makes it for them. And like again, throughout all these genres that they've been together, each song has its own identity for the most part. And I don't know, I think it just comes together as an album just so well. And when I do have the time, because right now I don't listen to the whole thing front to back anymore. I just kind of go back to the songs. Most of the time, the closer, which is a 13-minute song still that I still like frequent all the whenever I can. But like whenever I get the chance to listen to all, I believe 17 of those songs in order, it is such a treat. And yeah, they are the band to watch out for. I think they're like apparently
besides us, of course.
Obviously besides us, but they're who needs us when we have Adji? Anyway, this is only part 1. Apparently, there's a part 2 to this saga that I assume they're still writing and whatnot. So shout outs to whatever they're going to be doing in the future, because they are the best thing I have heard in recent memory for the longest time. So like Adji.
Yeah,
shout outs to them.
Yeah, we like music.
Yeah. Oh, I listen. You're in good company. I think I pulled it up. It's Peregrine. If I had to I had to guess on the name.
I think I looked it up, and I think that's right, but I can't like train my brain to think my brain just goes immediately to Peregrine for some reason. But thank you for doing that.
Anyway, Peregrine, the awful things we've done. It's this house. I'll post a photo of it in post, but I already have it up. I'm gonna listen to it as soon as we're done.
Fantastic! No, highly recommend that.
I'm all about like that, and this is why I like asking that question, because there's like. I will probably die before I listen to everything. So when any person comes on and they're like, you really need to check this record out, or you need to check this artist out, I like specifically look it up and have it on my computer. So like after we're done talking and after the interview's over with, I was like, I gotta have to make sure to like save a bookmark for it. So but yeah, I'm always looking out for new stuff. I gotta give a shout out to the new Seder record. Oh, they're like chef's kiss. We love it, and I'm really excited to see what I think they'll be big. I think that's like the one band that I feel 100%.
Like I believe in them.
It feels weird to call them the next Hail the Sun, because Hail the Sun's kind of new too, like relatively speaking. But it feels like Hail the Sun was like, people do them and they were really clearly good, and then they were big, and I feel like this is that now.
Oh, 100%. I feel like they're more. I feel like they're the right mix of being accessible as a band. Like you could listen, like I could give friends of mine that aren't really like into music like I am, and be like, yo, this is sick. But then like I could give it to someone that is like real into like techie shit, and they'd be like, yo, this is tight.
Exactly.
So I think it's like the perfect mix of those two things. And so I gotta give them a shout. Hopefully they'll come on the channel. That would be very sick.
Be dope, man. That would be so dope. And I would watch all of that. 100%. That would be great.
Let's do it, guys. The next question I have for both of you, I'm sure this has been cycling in your head, I imagine, since the band started. But if you guys could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
Funny.
I have some answers to this. Do you have anything off the?
I mean, only that, like, it's weird because, like, the songs that we've talked about covering were, like, Icarus songs that I started transcribing because I don't know why.
Respect, first of all, like, that's how, I just want to say, that's how you know you love music, if you're just like, man, in my spare time I'm gonna transcribe a song off an album. Like, very rarely do you find anybody that's just like, man, you know what I'm gonna do when I've worked like an 8-hour shift after I'm done with that? Like, I'm gonna go transcribe music. And that's not a dig. I just think it's hilarious,
I'm in grad school right now, and I've like taken my break from my work to do that. Like, that's what I spent my time. My brain needed a break, so I wrote out a song that's in 2316. But I wrote like 4 of those, and I think like there's been a couple that like he's wanted to learn on guitar anyway, so we'll probably do that. But then like the insinuation is that I would sing that anyway, so I feel like we haven't prepped a lot of songs that we planned on doing in the format of what Alone I Stand is, just stand songs that we want to jam on.
Sure.
So, in terms of like songs that I want to play live, Ignorance, Paramore, 100%.
Ooh, okay.
Number one song I want to cover.
Is it because I have that other Paramore method?
No, but I can't say it's not. I mean, I can't say no, but like that's not the reason. But like, sure, yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, that works. I want to do that 100%. I've always wanted to do Drowning Lessons, My Chemical Romance. I don't know. I thought that would just be it's one of the songs that not every My Chemical Romance fan is unfortunately going to know, but I think that song's just a jam, and like I've just always wanted to do that. And probably like every La Dispute song, that too.
All of them together.
I feel like we would have to, I know your favorite song is that Last Continent. Is that the name of the song?
Oh,
Last Continent. That's too big.
I don't want to cover that.
But I know it's your favorite song, but I feel like
it's my favorite song in the world.
I feel like King Park like opened my eyes to that kind of music. So if I were going to do a La Dispute song, that would be the one I'd want to do.
I feel here's the as much as I'd want to do that, I feel like I disrespect King Park. Like I don't know, I would do it, but like I don't know. I feel like
you don't think you could do it justice.
I feel like I couldn't do it justice in the same way. As much as I'd want to do that, I want to do like a shorter one for sure.
I think that's what it is of why like I haven't come up to you with things that I want you to sing as a group. Like I've told you I want you to sing boxing things. But like, I think the reason I haven't went like, oh, let's do this as a band, I want you to sing this, is because you have a unique voice that's yours. and it feels weird to be like, I want to hear, it's not that I wouldn't want to hear your take on something. It's that what you're doing is its own thing, and it has influences and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like you're singing kind of like the same way I said about the Front Runners guy, but much better, obviously. Where like you're singing your heart out, and like you could, I don't want to say you could only do that on songs you make, but like you can make songs for the purpose of exploring your voice in the way that you want to. And I don't think any existing song I could think of right now explores the vocals the way that I think will best suit the way that you're going to be doing that. If that makes sense.
That sounds cool right there. That's what I can definitely.
I think there's a sound because I feel like because some of the comments on the thing, and it was funny. Some of the comments on the review was like talking shit about like your voice, and when I said that, and when you saw it, you're like, cool. I'm also thinking I'm the worst part of this, but I never thought that. I just feel like you're finding it. Like I feel like you're just finding what the way you're going to be singing is. And especially in Celica, my favorite song in this is Celica on Ice, by the way. If people don't want to listen to this whole thing, which you should, because it's only 5 songs, but if for whatever reason someone's watching this and they're like, I'm going to only listen to one song just to see it, the single, Celica on Ice. I think that best says what we're doing, and also, like, I think you are finding your voice the best in that. And I think some extension of that is going to be, like, something that makes somebody say, are you Greg because on anonymity, or you just
no, I just like it.
Okay, like that. I think something that is derivative of that is going to be the thing that makes someone say, "Wow, did you hear the new Alone I Stand? Grayson Fraser is a really incredible vocalist in this." Like I feel like something that comes from that style is what is going to make that happen.
Okay, that's cool to hear. That's 100% cool to hear.
I feel like Ben's now getting all the stuff that he was like, man, I wish I could have just said this to Gray.
Yeah, no, I feel like this stuff comes out in interviews and whatnot, so like, there you go. No, appreciate that, 100%. I feel like my brain is still on the cover question right now, though.
I don't know. Like, I feel like there's just songs that a lot of the songs we like are just really complicated.
Sure.
Like a lot of our influence things, like the time it'll take to get those to work out. I would just rather be making things like not to say I never want to do covers. It's just that like it's never been that's just another reason it's never been in the forefront of my brain.
No, yeah, it's not like the priority.
Also, I've spent literally when he was learning guitar in secret, my quarantine project was recording covers on YouTube. Like if you look,
follow Ben Peretti on YouTube.
Follow Ben Peretti on YouTube. I don't post that much now because we're doing this, but like it's literally just been doing covers, and I've had fun doing that. Like, I've had a lot of fun doing that. And I think that like it's been great in training my voice and training my skills. That it's awesome. I've learned a little bit about mixing and video editing. I think it's awesome. But like, this is what I want to be doing: writing specifically with my friend for my friend. You know, like so. There you go. So what covers do I want to do? None. I don't care. Whatever you want.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
No, and that's I think it's cool. Like I love when people stick to their guns in regards to like, you know, wanting to do covers or not. Like I feel like it's always, at least for me, in terms of like bands that I may not be familiar with, I think it's always cool to hear like a song that you're like, oh shit, I know that song, that's cool. Like let me
whenever I go to a show, like I don't know, I want someone to say, all right, you're gonna know this one, and then it hopefully not be a Fall Out Boy song, because that's like because then Sugar We're Coming Down just comes on. I'm just like, oh, I'm going down.
I mean, the exception when I think about is when Icarus did
1,000. They have their 1,000 Miles cover. Which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think about that.
You know, I love that so much. But like, I don't know. I probably like in terms of like, I don't know. I would do covers just for like live and to fill a set or something like that. Especially now if we only have 5. If for some reason we started playing soon and they were like, all right, you have like 40 minutes. I'm like, okay, our EP is 22 minutes. How do we fill that space? I don't know. Like so I've narrowed down the list for what if I could say like 3 songs would be like Ignorance by Paramore. I've always wanted to do Tag No Bass's Icarus the Owl if we were to do an Icarus the Owl song. They wouldn't know that song, but I feel like that would be super fun. Just go like sing back and forth with you for that. That would be fun. And I've last night I was listening to The Most Beautiful Bitter Fruit by Loud Dispute. So I'll say that's the one I want to cover right now because I feel like that song is super me right now. And yeah, that answers the covers question.
There we go, guys. If you have If you have any question or any covers that you would love to hear Alone I Stand cover, drop them in the comments. I'm sure they'll check them out and maybe not do it. Who knows?
If you have any songs that you want me to like make it sound more similar to La Dispute, I will do that for you.
That sounds like a great freaking YouTube channel in and of itself.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Like blank style of dogs.
There's a guy on TikTok that just like takes like I don't know if he does like conversations or something like that, but he makes them sound like a La Dispute track, and it's hilarious. I don't remember what his name is, but he basically he did man, I'll have to find a couple because they're all hilarious. So big shout outs to him. Those are he's like the epitome of like, okay, like this is comedy, but also like if you told me this was a full-fledged song, I'd be like, okay, that's about it. Like I would be about it, you know, like because he matches like the production style so well too, and I'm like, and his voice kind of has that like, you know, that kind of like yell kind of like, you know, spoken word kind of, you know, piece going on with it, and it's just so tight. So gotta give him a shout. But the next question I have for you guys, another fun one. What is your favorite food to eat?
Ooh, favorite food to eat? I feel like that's different than what's your favorite food.
Or what's your favorite food? Why don't we go with that?
Okay,
and don't eat it.
I'm really bad. I'm really
like, so much shit to say about music.
I love food. Food makes me happy. I
anything.
will eat most things. Most things just are going to make me happy in some way, shape, or form. I feel. What's my favorite food? I have to think about that. I like fondue a lot. Fondue is super fun.
Oh, all right.
I've never even seen you eat fondue.
You totally have. First of all, second of all,
Probably like sausage, peppers, and onions, if not like a burger. I feel like I have 5 things that they're all meat, except for the one which has meat anyway. You know what? My favorite food is a bagel sandwich.
No,
hell yeah, let's go.
I'm answering the first question. My favorite food to eat is a burger. Like, I don't know, whenever you just throw a burger in front of me, I just get that much happier about like literally everything. It's like, oh cool, burger. That's great. It's simple, it's like it gets the job done, and like there might be bacon on it. That's
There
pretty
might
cool.
be bacon.
Like, that's cool. It's my happy food.
I just like how you're optimistic about if there is bacon on the burger or not. That was what really got me. That was like the real selling point. Like initially I was like, okay, the burger, I get it, and then you're just like, there could be bacon. I don't know. Like
There's like a 60% chance there's bacon on this burger.
I legitimately thought Gray was just gonna get up and be like one of those like Weather Channel people, like, okay, as you can see here, the burger is right here. As you can tell, there's a pocket of bacon here. There's a 40% chance that there will be bacon on said sandwich, but you know, there's a front coming through. So, oh wait, okay. Coming up from the bottom, we got cheese. We might get cheese here on there, and then they might intersect and then put cheese and bacon on here. So there's a 20% chance right here that you'll get both.
It's all possibility.
Can
And
I
love
interrupt to say that I think a pocket is the appropriate word for like a gaggle of bacon? Like I feel like a pocket of bacon is the best way to put it.
You kind of nailed that. Yeah, 100%.
That's all I was thinking as you went on past that. I was like, yeah, pocket of bacon.
Pocket.
It is like it's
Honestly, I hope this just gets clipped and this is what your band's known for.
If you
This is a
put
good
fried
one.
egg on a burger and it will sit in that pocket of bacon, come on.
Ramen's up there too. Ramen might, like, I don't know, whenever I go out and have ramen, I just think this is the best thing. They can't make anything better than this.
Fair enough. Well,
Alright,
I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Food is fun.
The next question I have for you guys, if you could pick somebody to collaborate with, whether it be a guest feature on an up-and-coming Alone I Stand record or a producer you'd like to work with in the future, who would it be?
I feel like I have a couple answers to this.
Okay, you go first. I have to think.
Like, there's a reason I think this, because we're both really big. We're Anthony Green fans pretty heavily.
Oh, yeah.
Like his
That's what you should
recent
think.
album is like probably my favorite thing he's ever put out, which says a lot because Circa is like a top 5 favorite band for me easily.
That shit's heartbreaking if you have yet to hear that album. That shit's a lot. That shit's
It is emotional and fluid and like so good. And he also just, you know, phenomenal singer. Really, we met him and he was there tabling for teaching people about addiction and what to do with somebody overdosing and talking about opioids and like that's just such a, obviously there's like a connection to his life there, but it's just like it's such a genuine thing to do. He's like he seems like a wonderful person, like kind. Everything I see him in is so it's just so genuine, and he has a phenomenal voice. And Grayson sent him single.
Yeah, no, like someone had a comment where they were just like, here, check out my first single, and I was like, let me piggyback on this. Hey man, check out my first single.
Yeah. You got it.
He liked it, like he said he enjoyed it and like liked his voice. And like I just listened to, I always say his name wrong. It's not Matt Kasekis, it's like Matt
I don't know how to say his name. The lead singer of Citizen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't even know Citizen. I just knew him from the solo thing I found. And then like Anthony Green was on one of the songs, but it didn't even say featuring Anthony Green. He was so just in the song. It's the song Direction, I think. Direction by Matt. I think it's Kirkekis.
Again, I have no idea.
Irrelevant. It's really good. Anthony Green's on that song, and he just does well. And I think that would be kind of like that would be a dream. That would be a dream like collab right there. Honestly.
Fair enough.
Anthony Green.
I have the now unfortunately possibly defunct Icarus the Owl that may or may not exist. I've always wanted to be on an Icarus the Owl song. Like I always wanted to get buddy with him. Like, hey man, can I like put like a spoken thing in this? Like that was always my dream. It was something to do.
It's not even happening in your song. You want to be in there. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. I want to be in there. I feel like I had an answer for the producer, but now it's not coming to me. It's not like I feel like if we were to make it, like Chris Crummett would be super cool. Like,
oh, yeah,
classic. But like, I feel like I had like an interesting answer for that, but it's not coming to me anymore. So I guess that's that. That's my answer for that.
Oh, okay. Well, Gray, if you remember it, I'll put text here. On
put something there. Like I feel like it was someone interesting.
I also don't know this person's name because I'm not always good with like people's names. But main singer, guitarist of Fall of Troy.
Thomas Arak. Yeah, Terrence Arak. Yeah.
I feel like he's got a cool voice to an extent that like I feel like the same way I described your voice where it's its own thing and it needed to find its stride, his voice found a similar kind of stride. I think seeing you guys play together would be cool. And then also I feel like the way you do your riffs and the way like a lot of the way our music was mixed, like the riffs remind me a little bit of like a Fall of Troy production. Like the way the guitar sounds kind of reminds me of that. So I would fucking love to have him shred over one of our songs. That would be awesome. Yeah, no, so those are my two.
There we go, guys.
Sorry, I didn't know your name if you see this somehow. I don't know anyone's name. So you're Brandon, though. I remember you. I got it.
Thank you. I completely forget about my name every day. So
there you go.
Anyway, guys, if you want to hear Alone I Stand collab with either Anthony Green or Thomas Arak of Fall of Troy, you go on Twitter, you tag Alone I Stand on Twitter, and then you tag Anthony Green, and then you also tag Thomas Arak, and you say dual collab ? And then you know it's just out in the ether, and then you've manifested it. So there. I mean,
if you will it, then so shall it be.
It's so yeah, it'll come to life. So. They're already working on the song, guys. So you know, you already know it's going to be coming out very soon. So, yeah, I would love to hear it. So you know, listen, if I drop my 2 cents in the hat, but you know, just saying. The next question I have for you guys: you play a ton of instruments, but if there was another one you could master, what would it be?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
I don't know. I feel like my obligatory answer is I do want to learn how to play piano at some point.
Fair enough. Like, yeah, that's a good answer.
That seems like something that has to happen. It seems like something I would enjoy. It seems like something like, you know, another challenge for my hands. I would like that.
I also think piano could suit me. Like I feel like a not the way I play piano with a bunch of like fucking like 5 chords and like, like not like that, but like actually nice piano, like someone who is trained. I feel like the way that could be written.
I like how Yvette Young writes piano.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking actually when I was saying that. That's kind of like what I had in my mind.
Like I feel like that's what I would want to do if I picked up piano or something like that too. Or I think it is just under her solo name. She has a piano EP and it's beautiful.
That's so good.
It sounds like if her like typical like classical influence like seeped into her math rock. It's her math rock playing in Covet and whatnot and her own solo stuff. It seems like this is like the inverse of that, like taking that influence and putting it in piano, which is so cool.
I can't believe we've never talked about that out. That's really good.
You know that stuff.
It's brilliant. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
she's brilliant. But I feel like my favorite instrument is harp. I feel like I would never get there. I feel like I would never want to own a harp, but like that's my favorite instrument. So I guess that might have something to do with that. And
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I know I play bass, but I would still say bass because like because I play a bunch of things, but drums is the only one I play at a proficient level to teach and to like write the kind of things I'd want to be writing.
Fair enough.
Like,
Fair enough.
So like him and I are writing music at the same time, and his writing just goes faster. One, because he's just a good writer and he's been writing since like high school, and I haven't. Like he's just really good at it. But like also like it's hard to write primarily on drums. It's it's hard to arrange on drums, to arrange a piece on just drums, and I've done it, and I've really liked what has come of it thus far. But like I would like to be able to move away from that, just so I could have a little more diversity. But I never really was interested in playing guitar. Like I only learned guitar to sing. Honestly, like
I don't learn guitar to write this project. So
yeah, like, and that's what it is. Like you learn guitar to do something that you want to create. I never really had that interest. Like, and I just think bass is a more fun instrument for me, and I think it's cool, and I like the vibe. And I also think I could be my own rhythm section. Like being good at bass, like, and being in a drum set, like I think that would just help my skill in both so much. I think that would open me up and like bring me to another level of being able to that playing just drum set wouldn't really be able to do, because I want to understand music on a little bit of a deeper level. I have a really good, in my opinion, a really good knowledge of rhythm. Like I don't think I'm crazy. Like I still watch a lot of
this dude's crazy.
I still watch a lot of like Adam Neely videos and go, what? So, like I still like have my I got much to learn, of course, but like I think that I'm definitely one of the more knowledgeable people I know in that realm, and then I'm like, I'd say pretty subpar in my knowledge of chords and scales. Like I don't really like where I am with that, but I don't care enough to get better at it. And if I was playing more bass, I would have much more desire to get better at those things.
Fair enough.
Better.
Makes sense.
We always said that like between you, me, and Jed of the different things we have knowledge in, we would make a great musician.
We'd make a great musician, and we'd make together the three of us. We'd make like a good like 1.5 of a music teacher, basically like a music teacher and a half. So.
Also, I gotta.
Exactly.
I've always wanted it on show.
I feel like I gotta show you guys this since we did mention Covet, but I have.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god!
I have 3 of these, so I will say my spiel to Covet. So
yeah,
I am very good friends with all of them.
That is the coolest thing.
And not not trying to flex on the channel, but
you should flex.
No, I'd flex that.
And funnily enough, I interviewed them a couple months ago in Philly, but anyway, so this poster was surprisingly enough, like they had played their first like full tour with Polyphia. Shout out to them too. And I had messaged Yvette because we had done an interview, and I said, hey, like, you guys are playing Jersey and Philly, like, we should hang out in person. And she was just like, oh, yeah, like, definitely. So funnily enough, it was the day before my birthday was one of the shows, and I think that was in Philly. And then the day after was in Jersey, and that was my birthday. So they stayed over at my house, and I got to play the Strandberg. So I want to give a major shout out to Yvette, because I was like so afraid that I was gonna like break it by just looking at it. So I did not break it.
By just looking at it, at least.
Not by looking at it. I could have definitely broken it by just like playing it. But they were all like, shout outs to Dave too. I love Dave, and like Forrest, their new drummer, is awesome. And so she was like, oh, I feel bad, it's your birthday, like we should get you something. So what they did was they just wound up giving me these posters, and then they signed it happy birthday. So I have 3 posters from Yvette that all say happy birthday, which is insane. So
they all say happy birthday.
They all say happy birthday on it. So it only makes sense for me to keep it, because again, not that I would ever resell it, it wouldn't, like, it would just be related to
It's
me.
just yours now. Like it'd be I mean, not that I wouldn't buy that from you.
But like, if he did though, like that's not your birthday, and he would try and go off telling people that it was. So,
I
like,
bet it
that's not
doesn't
wrong.
say the date on it. That's all I'm saying.
It doesn't say the date on there, but
Yeah, so there you go.
it does
No,
tell. It does
that-
say happy. I think it says like happy like 26th birthday, or like I forget how old I
I'm
was at the time.
26. I got it. I turned 26.
All right,
That is
well,
cool.
I feel like Ben's gonna roll up to my house and
Don't
just
worry,
fucking steal all
I'll-
these posters from me.
I'll either stop him or assist him. He's very convincing.
If
So.
I'm rolling up, it's because we're all hanging out. You seem like a cool.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. And then Ben would just low key be like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna take these posters
Don't
off the
show
wall."
him. Don't show him those.
Oh, there
posters
we
again.
go. They're going in the
It'd
Disney
be
vault.
Good.
It would be like the Saw scene with the plans that they like pour the milk on. It's the fake one, and so I pour something on to pretend it's the real one and exchange it for yours. Like it's very.
That would be a very elaborate plan to.
Oh,
get
you should
a-
watch that show.
Oh my god! But yeah, so that was my I again love Yvette, so
That's
she's
so cool.
awesome. So
Hearing that is just heartwarming. That's awesome. Knowing that she is heartwarming is also awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
she's a major sweetheart. So I gotta always when anybody talks about her, like legitimately, it's always like funny to me that people are like, oh man, she can't be like that nice in person, and I'm like, nope, she is. In fact, I would argue she's even nicer of a person in like when you go to see her at shows and stuff. So
That's awesome.
I gotta give her major props. She's awesome. So Yvette, I don't know if you watch my stuff like you used to, but big shout outs to you.
Let's do a bet.
I'm
next-
glad.
Go ahead, Ben. What were you gonna ask?
No, I did. It's just an unnecessary shit talk. Not on her, but I'm good. I'm gonna use this platform to tell this story right now, and then I will never talk about it ever again.
Okay.
Which is the first and only time I've met like a musician. Well, not only, but first time I've met a musician that I was really like passionate about. I was like 13, and I met Burt McCracken of The Used.
Oh shit!
And-
All right.
Yeah, and he was an asshole. Burt McCracken, I hope you hear that. Fuck you. I was like 13, and it was like a show at Vintage Vinyl, and you walk up the sign and meet him, whatever, and I was like so excited. He was my favorite singer at the time, and I was like, hey man, that was a really nice show. That was awesome. And he looks at me, this child, dead in the face, and goes, a nice show? What does that even mean? And then laughs at me. So I hope he
heard that
sees this.
story.
And now I'll never have to tell it again, because now more than like the 10 people in my life will have heard it. I wanted the world to know that.
I just love that the dichotomy of it was that I was telling a very whole story, and then
No,
you
yeah,
just
that's
had
why I
this shit
needed to
talk
say it.
over top of it.
I'll remember. I don't know if he remembers that. I probably not. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. We can move on now. Whatever you were gonna ask, I'm ready.
Me too.
Sorry.
No,
Oh my
that's
God.
great. That's great. I like it. That's a good story.
Please keep that in.
Oh my god! I mean, I feel like I have to now at this point. I can't be called out like later on, and then Ben's gonna fucking be like, "Man, that guy Brandon, we did that video interview, and he completely cut out this segment where I talk shit about Burt McCracken."
And he loved it.
Burt McCracken comments on this video. He's like, "I still fucking hate you," or
That's the goal.
I hope you come to my show coming up and tell me it's a good fucking show, like. I'm sorry, Bert. If you watch my content, I appreciate it.
As you should.
As you should, But, oh my god, that was great. Anyway, next question, guys. My personal favorite. I love asking it. I'm a huge nerd, as we talked about earlier. But if you could be a video game character, who would you be?
Ooh, a video game character. That's a fun one. That's a very fun one.
I got to, It's for the
Okay.
culture.
No, of course the culture. I feel like this is such an easy, typical answer, especially in a post-2017 world. But like Joker from Persona 5 is just the swaggiest character, and that's
All
ever
right,
existed.
all right.
The
Respect.
best
respect.
the best self-insert main protagonist that pseudo-silent main protagonist that's ever existed. So like I don't know. I feel like that's such an easy answer, but like yeah,
It's a
yeah,
very
if I had
good
to-
one, though.
Thank you. If I had to be a video game character, then yeah, sure, Joker. Top tier in Smash too. So there you go.
I'm like a fake gamer.
Ben
I'm a
plays Smash and platformers, and that's all.
Fair enough.
Although
It's good. That's
really
fair.
greatly enjoy Strikers still and
Ooh.
Fall Guys. Just like still a platform, but a different kind of platformer. I'm a fake gamer. I'm gonna be Pac-Man. He seems like he lives a simple life. Pac-Man's not worrying about anything.
Listen, I just want to take a second here that Ben decided to choose a character because his life is simple.
Yeah.
Just like people in the comment, I just need to know, like, if am I going a little cuckoo in the head? Because I mean that's definitely true, but
I respect it. I respect it, but that's
If you're I don't play that many video games, but honestly, the video game world seems stressful. I don't want to live in that shit. The real world is stressful enough.
I mean, just to kind of just put it in perspective, I mean, if you are Pac-Man, you're trapped in the grid forever.
Are you trapped? Does he even know he's trapped? Does he like have enough brain capacity to know that when he comes out one way, he's just on the other side? He doesn't. And that's fine.
and that's fine.
And that's fine. That's what.
That's what I was.
That's the takeaway.
Sounds awesome.
Oh my god,
Yeah, man.
I gotta give Ben. Listen, kudos to Ben because my god, like I've heard some great answers, but that might be in my top 10 because honestly,
my answer's pretty generic. Like that's a good answer.
That's
right
a good answer, and the fact that he had the reasoning to back it all up. That's a flex. Like honestly, you know, like he was just like he lives a simple life, and then I was like, okay, well he lives in the grid, and then you're like, well, does he know he lives in the grid? Mind blown. I'll never be able to take back that time that I thought about Pac-Man so seriously in my life.
You've lost a lot of time.
I've lost a lot. It's all right. It's all right. It's well worth it, honestly.
Good.
But like the answers again. You know, both Gray and Ben. Again, Ben's if I was to make like a tier list of, you know, favorite answers I've gotten from this would just definitely be in that top 10 slot. Anyway, guys, next question. Getting back to the music stuff. If you were to compile a dream tour lineup that would include "Alone I Stand," who would be on it?
Like I gotta say, like a lot of like the heavier influences, like I'd want to play with Fall of Troy and Hail the Sun. I'd want Icarus to come back. I know they're not as heavy, but like I'd want them to come back. I would want it to be a nuts show because I feel like we have because I think about it all the time that I think Celica is gonna be a freaking jam in a pit. Like that would be really cool for a lot of those moments of that song. Plus like just a huge ending. Yeah. I think a lot of you would be an awesome freaking addition. Like any band that I think of that's like big in their performances, and that's who I would want to play with.
I think the bill I would want right now is opening Alone I Stand, then Foxing, and then La Dispute. I feel like that would be perfect.
I love how in this like hypothetical world, it could be anything you want. We're still the opening band.
Yeah, no, I'm not overshadowing my favorites. No, like 100%. I want to watch the bands afterwards. Like I'll be done after that, and I'll be like, cool, I can just watch bands now. That sounds great.
That's how we found Seder. Seder was an opening band.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were incredible. Like I like that. So I found a lot of the bands I've liked, honestly.
Watch the opening bands, guys.
Yeah,
they got a lot of proof. Yeah.
And don't leave. You're going for a band that's earlier on, and you see them. Don't just leave. There's so many. I regret like every time I've been at a show and left. I don't think I've ever not regret that.
Yeah, no, like there's always good stuff to come. Like sometimes you have to leave. I get it. Like things happen, life happens. I get that, but like you can stay. It's music. It's music. Watch music. Support music.
Please.
I 100% agree. If you can go there early, do it. You know, because there's very similarly to you guys. There's been some bands that I've been like, wow, if I hadn't gone to the show early to go see it, like I would have missed out on a really incredible band. So I agree with that 100%.
I'm thinking about how when we saw Delta Sleep, they played with Invalids, and this guy had it was the exact same reaction I had the first time I saw Invalids, which is just staring and laughing.
Yeah,
just like nuts. You're so amazed at what's happening that you can't help but laugh. And that guy, wherever he is, shout out to that guy, I guess, he would never have known of this band if he only came late to see Delta Sleep.
So there you go.
He wouldn't have known that he wouldn't have seen probably the most technical band I can name.
That's very accurate, actually.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's very accurate and a good testament to that statement right there, to what we're trying to promote right now. So I'm for it.
Support local music.
Support local music. Support all local good music. There you go.
There we go. Awesome, guys. The next question I have here: favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Better Call Saul. It's an easy. Sorry, it was very quick and easy for me.
Oh yeah, Better Call Saul. We're very in the weeds there. There are 2 episodes left, so it's like so it's gonna be quite a send off for the Breaking Bad community right there.
If this airs after the finale and the finale sucks, I'm gonna be really sad watching this. I don't expect that, but like that would be really heartbreaking.
We'll have to get further comment from Ben and Gray after, and then this is
we'll let you know. We'll post it.
We'll message you specifically.
It sucked. Add an "it sucked" post thing. Like please do. You have to.
Can't do.
Movie's harder.
My favorite, or we'll go back and forth then, I guess.
Yeah, you go.
My favorite show is Last Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender, by far.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's just been the one since childhood. Like, I feel like that's the most watchable show for me. I don't rewatch things like ever, but like if there's like ever an opportunity I have, like, let me rewatch Avatar, like I'll do that, or I'll just put an episode on. It's just such a comfy show.
Big facts.
With great themes. My favorite world building. It's best characters. Like, I love that show to death.
If you have a movie in mind.
I'm less of a movies person, but
I know, I'm a big movie. I'm really big into movies and TV shows. So like TV shows, it's easy because it literally just fluctuates between Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and BoJack Horseman for me.
Yeah, those are all there for me as well.
Like those, it's literally just whatever I most recently watched. But I think I'll still stick with Better Call Saul. I'm a big fan of cinematography and like just seeing things, and they have some of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen.
100%.
In any type of media in that show. So
Okay.
like it's mind blowing for me. Like I love watching that. If I had to pick a movie, I'm gonna actually preface this. This isn't my favorite movie because I cannot pick a favorite movie. It's impossible. But I think like what I really want to say for some reason is Jojo Rabbit.
Still have to see that. That sounds really.
I don't know if you that movie. I grew up Jewish, going to temple, and like you learn a lot about I learned a lot about the way they indoctrinate like young Nazis or to be Nazis into that, in the weird like shit that they told them, which was like random stuff like Jews have horns and like feast on blood, like random weird crap, which when you learn as a kid you're like, whoa, that's nuts, and you're laughing because it's funny, but like that movie makes it so funny. I've never seen a movie if you would have told me that I would have watched a movie about World War II and Nazis and it would be funny and that Taika Waititi would be playing Hitler and I wouldn't feel weird about it at all, I wouldn't have believed you. So I can
imagine you would have a conflict of interest, you know?
Yes, I really did. I cannot believe that what I just described exists, and it's even in contention of one of my favorite movies. So I feel like I have to say that right now because it just like blows my. It's hilarious. It's like very real still, but also like heartwarming. It is so good. Love that movie.
You sold it right there. So.
Yeah.
Go watch
now I gotta go watch it.
Please do. It's really great.
I guess I quick like just back up to the show thing. Like my Avatar will always be number one, but it's like Avatar, the shows he mentioned, and then whatever weeb shit I'm currently watching at the time. Huge, unfortunately, huge.
He said unfortunately.
I'm on the weeb train, so.
I always consider myself like, yeah, I'm less than the weebs that are like super weeby, but definitely more.
Ben's like, no.
And now, like, literally the only things I watch right now are anime, just because it's so easy to just like, all right, cool, 12-episode show, bet. Like, I'm just gonna watch all that stuff. I'm gonna watch all of that in like 2 days.
You know what finishes even sooner? A movie.
No, I like getting invested though. I feel less invested.
I'll give you that.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I actually just finished Attack on Titan for the like. I've watched most classics, but like then I try to find like weird stuff. But then I finally was like, all right, let me watch Attack on Titan. I feel like that has to be like up there for me now. I don't know if it's in my top 10 or anything, but that was phenomenal. I got it. Like that deserves all the hype that it gets. That was really good. Quick, just shout outs to like 2 more anime, like what I started binging over quarantine. I finally started getting into like the Fate Stay Night series and like Fate Zero, Fate Unlimited Blade Work.
Okay,
That stuff is phenomenal. Oh my goodness! If you like anime that has like some good like twists and turns and stuff like that, and it's like like this cool battle royale setting. Highly recommend like Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel. The rest of it's like it's okay, but like that all that stuff phenomenal. And also shout outs to another show that I think went a little under the radar, Wonder Egg Priority. That show, no one likes the ending. So like everyone like says it's a shit show now, but even though up until people considered it a shit show, they were like, oh, this is fantastic, this is phenomenal, this is peak fiction and whatnot. But like, because of that, I didn't watch the ending right away because it was released later and it was like its own special thing. And like people were saying like that was the bad thing, so I was hesitant to go watch it. I don't know if I probably will at some point, but everything up until that was phenomenal. So highly recommend that if you like dealing with like dark subjects in like a cool fantasy world with beautiful animation and whatnot. Oh, also shout outs to Jujutsu Kaisen. That's the other thing I binged over recording. Super dope, really cool power system in there. And like obviously I love all your classics, like your Naruto, your Full Metal Alchemist, your Death Note, your Code Geass, your stuff like that. So like I just got all the weeb stuff out there. I didn't want to do that, but then I did.
Anyway, we gotta be true to ourselves.
No, yeah. So yeah, anime's cool. Anyway,
anime is
respect.
My favorite movie is probably Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Ooh.
Him and our other friend at the time, they showed it to me because they're like, Grayson, you're really gonna like this movie, and I was like, oh, The Spotless Mind, like Icarus' first album, and they showed me that, and which I found out like, oh yeah, that makes like Running from Lacuna. I'm like, oh duh, it makes sense. And they showed me that movie. I was like, this is something special right here. So like, that's probably the movie that's like stuck with me the most in like recent memory.
I can't agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
There we go. I'm glad you got the weeb shit out because I'm all about it too. So
once you said that, I was like, oh no, that's an excuse for me to bring up weeb stuff.
It's crazy. Like I started watching a lot of like anime and stuff like over quarantine and stuff. Not that I didn't like it before. I just feel like, when people have just a mass amount of time to watch shit, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch all of them now. So I watched. I just watched a ton of anime. I'm currently in the weeds of watching Komi Can't Communicate. I love the slice of life kind of.
I love the first season. I watched that show. That show actually kind of spoke to me a bit, so I enjoyed that quite a bit.
So I'm really vibing with that one right now. And then I don't know. I'm just a big slice of life kind of guy. Like I'm all about those. They're so like it's just like when you work a hard day and then you're just like, man, what would be nice watching a slice of life kind of anime, and it's just so cute. It's wholesome, and then you go to bed and you're just like.
You need that sometimes. Kaguya-sama season 3 just finished, and I thought that was phenomenal.
Oh, that's good. I also want to give a shout out. Now that we're on the weeb train, I figure I just talk about it. And I think I've talked about it in previous interviews, but I'll give it another shout. K-On! If you have not watched that, Chef's
that's
Kiss.
On my list. I want to watch it.
If you are a musician and you like anime shit, this is Worlds Collide, baby. We're on it. So.
I feel like I have to give this show a shout out too. I forgot. This is my actual favorite anime, probably maybe my favorite show. Have you heard of A Place Further Than the Universe?
I have not, but I'll start watching it.
It's apparently similar to K-On! I had to watch it on like Korean Netflix a few years back, but like that show, it's like that show like is the most inspiring thing I've ever seen and has some of the saddest moments I've ever seen. A Place Further Than the Universe. I think it's 13 episodes long. If you liked K-On! Again, I didn't watch K-On!, but apparently they're similar, so that's probably the best show I've ever seen in terms of best anime I've ever seen.
There we go. Awesome, guys. Well, if you have any anime recommendations, drop them in the comments. Well, of course, I'm going to watch it. Next question for you guys. It's true. I mean, I'm not going to argue that. I mean, I'll people recommend some good shit, so I'll do it. The next question I have for you guys, if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what would it be?
Only one of them?
Only one.
Okay.
This is a really douchey thing to say, ours.
Yes.
Only because, like, I feel like if you asked me this right after we released it, I wouldn't have said that. But, like, now that it's been, like, sitting for a little bit and I haven't been listening to it as much, like, because it just makes me happy to be proud of something. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been part of something that I've been like proud of.
Mhm.
like that, at least to that extent. So like just on the merit that I feel like it would inspire, assumingly we could keep writing on this island. Why are we even on an island together if we're not writing the next album? But I feel like that would inspire a little bit. It would just if we're shipwrecked there, like if we're gonna die in this place, I'd at least rather die knowing that we accomplished something. Like that's a really, really
You were
good
really
thing.
reading into this. I just want to let you know, Ben.
I think yeah, that's about right. But so I'm gonna pick that because of that, even if it is a little bit pretentious. I don't care. That's what I'm picking.
Okay.
Respect.
First, I had
Maybe
some...
this album.
Yeah, doppelganger. Yeah.
Let's see. I feel like I've shouted out the bands that I normally shout out all the time, like Loudest View and Nickers, and I would love to pick something from them, but right now I'm in like my summer sad boy vibes, and I'd pick something out a band I haven't said so far, which is another defunct band, PM Today.
Yes. Oh, I already know what you're gonna pick. I already know.
In medias res, or in medias res, I actually have no idea how to say it for 100%, but that is another top 5 album of all time for me. Like it is, I don't know that album. I found that album when I needed those emotions at that time, and it's that album I was talking about before, Agi. I have not heard an album of that scale since I discovered that album like 5 years ago. So I was a little late to the train. I know that came out in 2010, but when I heard that album, I was very obsessed with 6 years ago now. When I heard that album, I was very obsessed with everything that was happening. I've just gone back to that. So I've gone back to their small discography since I love them so much. I'm so sad that that I didn't listen to them when they were actually a band. I missed the train there, but that album is the perfect amount of it's brief, it's technical, it has the emotions that I'm looking for in that post-hardcore music. Like I don't know, I feel like it's that 2010s rise chord, like that was peak that right there.
Yeah. Like that makes me think about like even I would say even too, like, and I think I had talked about this in maybe a previous interview too, ironically enough, but like old Tides of Man too, like
100%.
That shit was so good. And then I think even when the transition of Tillian leaving the band, I still think they still have such a fantastic sound, and that kind of, again, even like changing up their vocalist and like not having a vocalist and going the instrumental route and doing the post-rock thing is still so good. So I had to give them a shout for like kind of like, again, having to fall off that train of doing Tillian, but like still again kind of having such a great like vibe and sound still, you know.
No, yeah, 100%. Like those instrumental albums were fantastic. Early Tides of Man's like fantastic too. Like I was listening to like the first album relatively recently. Like this is like Dreamhouse is still my favorite, but the first one, like the sound on that album, like that was like a nice like raw like prog feel to it. Like I super dig that so much.
But I'm glad Gray mentioned PM Today, because God, that band did not get enough love or respect.
No, they did not. They really did not.
Oh, so fantastic! I love Medias Res. I think it's just such it is like the perfect mix of like progressive like post-hardcore and like Midwest emo. They just have that like
100%. It has it has that vibe to it, which again, a perfect blend of those vibes, and it kind of creates its own thing within that early 2010s rise sphere. And like I knew Tides of Man since like I think 2013, something like that.
Sure.
2012, 2013, something like that. And like so finding PM Today was like, oh, this is like that lost like third Tides of Man album, and somehow better too. So there you go.
I've decided to give a real answer because I recognize that you're asking what album would you like to listen to on a loop, not literally what would you take with you on an album. So because it is a real answer now, not that stupid Ben version of the answer that my brain immediately went to. And I'm pulling my phone because I didn't even know what it was called, because I just keep calling it the recent Deer Hunter album. But the most recent Deer Hunter album, which is apparently called Antimai, because I've just been saying it as listen to this Deer Hunter album. But I love concept albums.
Oh.
I love, like I said, I like movies and cinema and shows. Like I love a story, and I love the idea that you can make something so cohesive that it flows and has meaning but doesn't sound like the same. Like I feel like it's hard when you want to have an album that has a specific vibe, where like my fear would be I've made songs that all sound the same. Like that's like a fear of mine, I feel like, that I've turned away from, and I don't mind. But like that's what I want to be writing. I want to be writing concept albums that are like theatrical,
Sure,
but
yeah.
also diverse. Like, and this album, and I've been saying it. I haven't had an album like this in a while. I listened to it 4 times since it's been out, and I didn't even listen to it at the beginning of the month when it came out. I listened to it like halfway through the month. And I cannot remember the last time an album has done that for me. Probably since the self-titled Icarus album was probably the
cool.
last time I was
Yeah.
listening to an album as often as I am listening to this one. And that is something I would listen to. I think that'll like help me with my lyric writing. It'll help me like just understand how to make a story within a song, how to write as a character.
Sure, yeah.
Like, it is just impressive. Like, he's incredible, and like, so. But if I had to literally bring a thing on an island, I'll bring ours. If you're asking me what I will listen to on a big loop for however much time, it's this album.
I think like, I think it kind of goes back to like just, I mean, Casey did a like orchestrative. I don't even know what the word is. I'm just I'm having a brain fart, but like he was able to kind of create an orchestra concept album. I mean, like it's kind of wild. So I mean, he does have such like, he has such a mental like grasp on how well music can fit together, and I've been a fan since like Act 1, so like, you know, I know he is just like immensely talented, and just to hear like Act 1 and be like, okay, this is fucking sick, and then hearing like the newest Deer Hunter record and being like, this guy is just like so talented. It's wild to me.
This is a weird sentence that I just thought of, but Casey Crescenzo is like the Jacob Collier of song structure, because nobody looks at. I don't think anybody looks at music the way Jacob Collier does, and I don't think anybody looks at structure the way that Casey Crescenzo does.
Yeah, no,
it's a weird comparison, but I feel like that is.
It works. It works. I could see it. Yeah.
You know, like this dude literally wrote like 5 acts.
He's writing
apparently
a fucking like 6 album long.
Yeah, no.
It is a concept discography.
Yeah, no, like that's it is
Yeah.
a concept discography. And he in the meantime he's finally broken away from that for this album right here, like writing something else that's a concept right here.
And then the color spectrum, and then there's a honorary astronaut EP. Like, how do you do that? Like,
shout out to the color spectrum. That's my favorite.
my God. He understands how to make a song.
Yeah,
how to make a discography. Like, there's no one like him.
Yeah, no one doing concepts at that high of quality, as far as I know.
Big facts, 100%.
If there is, please let me know.
Shout out to Casey. Love that guy. I guess this is the second to last question, but I've been asking this recently in regards to just like bands and coming on, and so again, appreciate you guys for joining me tonight. But what do you want people to take away from Alone I Stand, whether it be, you know, from a lyrical perspective? And I know we talked a ton about like music and obviously who you guys are influenced by, and obviously that plays a big role in what you guys are doing. But like, what do you want people, you know, who have made it to this entire interview, you know, what do you want them to take away from your band collectively? Because it's, for me personally, like it's always cool to hear a band's stance on like what they're doing, and obviously like, you know, there's always an integral part about like making music and being involved in different perspectives and stuff. So I want to hear what you guys what your guys' thoughts are on the band collectively.
Okay. Well, again, I guess this goes beyond the influences, because we talked about those. Like, I obviously want people to hear this and be like, oh yeah, and hear this influences and whatnot, because like I think that's a cool thing in order to be able to be like, all right, oh cool, it combines this and this, and then it creates its own thing by putting them together and also mixing them with this. I think that's a super cool thing. But beyond that, first and foremost, like Alone I Stand is me. Alone I Stand, I mean it's us, but Alone I Stand, the emotion that comes out of it is what I concoct through being myself, I guess, and I want that. A friend told me this a while ago, and like I don't know, it's like I think it's like the compliment that has stuck with me the most, and like it's that I do a good job at evoking emotion, and like I don't know, I just like that phrase a lot, like those two words together right there, evoke emotion. So I hope that through either personal stories or whatever I talk about, you find a way to like feel whatever I am trying to express in the best way you can. Maybe you relate to it, maybe not, but like regardless, I want you to feel something. I want you to feel as emotionally vulnerable as possible, because like I guess that's my goal. I want you to feel something.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Shout outs to Movements. I think that's what their album is called.
It is, yeah. Ironically enough, that's some movements flagged
Oh, that's
by me. So,
fantastic.
yeah. Wow, it's everywhere. No, Ben, what's your takeaway?
I want to clarify, not clarify something you said, but like do an addendum on that, just being like, because we laughed because he was like, it's me, but it's us. Like, it's him in a sense that, I mean, one, he came to me with these songs. Like, I think Ferguson is probably the song I added the most to or put the most into.
Okay.
But like, it was all to help create this vision that he has. Like, we're going to be writing a bunch of music together, and that's just the way it's going to be. I recognize that he's a faster writer than me anyway, and and honestly a better writer. I will catch up, but like, he doesn't have to feel that way. That's okay, or he doesn't have to admit it, but that's also okay. But I know I've known him for a really long time, and I see, like I said, aside from the influences, like I see the him in it. And I keep going back to Celica, because Celica isn't about you, but like it kind of is a little bit. It's not exactly like it's about thing, but like the premise. It's about an ice skater. Celica on Ice is about an ice skater, but like the themes are very grounded and relatable into, I'll say, our lives to make it simpler, and life in general. And you have to dig deep to make that happen, which I think leads me to what my takeaway is, I guess, which is like just write something. I had a conversation with someone recently where they told me like they were jealous that we're putting something out there, and it was weird because I have felt that way in the past. Like I would see like Max's bands, because like our friend plays with he plays a lot of bands. My favorite of the bands is probably the Planet U.
Shout out to the Planet U.
Shout out to the Planet U. But like, I remember looking at that and being like, wow, I wish I could do that. But really what I was saying is I wish I would do that. Because like I could do that, not to his level to play the types of things he makes, because we all have our own vision, we all have our own skill set of what we're good at, and we all have our own form of like creativity. But like, I wasn't doing that. I don't know why there was such a disconnect between, like, because I said it's been years. Like high school, I was in a folk punk project when I was in college, and I had fun doing that. And I jammed with my friend where we wrote like a couple of songs together, and they were really good, and I liked what we were doing with it. But like, we just didn't keep going with it, or like we didn't go in with an intent of making a project. We really just was like, let's come up with this idea and just fuck with it.
Yeah.
I don't really know where this disconnect came from, where I did it. I guess I just thought that I would need to commit all of myself to be able to do something, and to some extent you kind of do, because like you see him like, learn guitar. Like if he didn't commit himself to doing that, he couldn't. This wouldn't happen without that commitment. But at the same time, like I've worked, I've done school, like relationships, friendships, like there's shit going on in your life, and if you don't take the opportunity to write, you're just not going to. Like, you gave me really good lyric writing advice once, which was like, don't be worried if it's bad, just put it down so you have something, and you could always work on it more after the fact.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me. In lyrics, I've been doing that a lot and have found it really helpful. And just in like writing and music, like I know I don't have as much time for music as I'd want to, just like I'm sure people who, for whatever reason, if you're sitting down listening to this whole thing, I recognize sometimes it's easier to sit down and watch something than it is to go write music and go play music. I do it every day. I sit down and watch something when I could be playing music, and I don't even think that's a bad thing. Like, do all these things you want to do, write and create and play and do everything you could, because Alone I Stand could never have happened. None of the bands you love or like or are interested in joining or creating or having seen, none of those bands would ever happen if someone didn't sit down and try to see where their ideas could take them.
Yeah.
But like, that's what I would take away. Please make something, play something, do what you can to put your thoughts from your brain into the world, because someone out there will connect with it.
No, and that's very profound, Ben. I will definitely say that. Like, I think it's even for me too, like, as you can tell, there's a guitar over there. But like for myself, I think sometimes I have to remind myself too, like, that I have to like as much as I create and do this, like, you know, I also play music and I have to create in that aspect, and you know that requires that time to take away from it and write and really kind of put things together and formulate it. And I think it's you know, I think, and I think I said this to just like a friend of mine recently, was just like, I think we take for granted like music and how it kind of influences your life. Like you could have a really shitty day and you could have a song that like affects your mood, like in a way that, like, you know, may resonate with you or like make you feel better, or and so, you know, it's something that unfortunately in reality, like, it's low on the totem pole, but offers so much in terms of like your emotional support or like mental health or whatever it may be. And so you know, that was kind of a large reason why I wanted to start doing just YouTube in general and having bands on and finding different stuff, because there's, you know, there's so much, like you said, where you find some band and you're like, man, like, I appreciate what you create and what you do, and it's important. And even if like you get like 25 Spotify followers, like it's still 25 more people that like know who you are, care about your music, and like care about what you do. So, you know, I hope that people check this out and check you guys out and really get involved. Like, that's my biggest thing doing this, is like, I hope that people find out about like bands like this, because then, you know, maybe, you know, down the line you'll have like, you know, 100 followers, and then you'll have like 1,000, and it's just kind of like that building block of like getting to the next point. So, you know, obviously love what you guys do, and it segues perfectly into the next thing that I have to ask you, which is probably the most important thing. Tell the people where they can find you at on social media, what you guys have coming up. Obviously you have an album out now as well, so you can plug that and give a little shill on that, but just tell the people where they can find you at coming up.
All right, sure. So we are Alone I Stand. You can find us on Spotify and all those fun streaming services just by searching Alone I Stand. You can find the same by searching on YouTube, Alone I Stand, in order to hear our music, which is the primary thing. We're on Bandcamp as well, Alone I Stand, same place. I'm going to say the name as many times as I can, because that's who you should be listening to, Alone I Stand. For all of our social medias, we're Alone I Stand _. No one's doing the Facebook thing anymore, so I'm not as active on there. But like, Twitter, Instagram, on TikTok now as well. Like, just follow Alone I Stand _. We're on there. We're making stuff. We're making music. We're making the best music. Alone I Stand wants to play shows, and to play shows we need people. So if you are located in the NJ area and you play guitar and/or bass, or you know friends that play guitar and/or bass, please hit us up. We are looking for cool people that are in the technical sphere to help us make music. Let's see. To dedicate, I'm gonna keep going for a second. If it is #AloneAgainAugust right now on TikTok. I'm making a post every day to celebrate the first track off of our EP, In Backgrounds, Alone Again, which I wrote like exactly a year ago right now, coincidentally, or something like that. So yeah, #AloneAgainAugust. Enjoy Alone Again. It's the saddest song on the EP. Yeah, I think those are all the main things. Listen to our EP, In Backgrounds. It's super awesome. Upcoming, we got work that's going to feature this dude at the helm doing the singing in the near future. It's going to be super awesome. We have more Alone I Stand work in the pipeline that's going to be super emo and super emotional, and you're going to love it if you love technical, emotional music. That's also still has nice poppy hooks and whatnot. So stay tuned. We're always writing. Alone I Stand forever.
Wow. Guys, listen. If you didn't get the memo, go check out Alone I Stand. Want to give a huge shout out to Jed. He is my guy. He is my son. I love him. So whenever very rarely does he send me bands like this, so I gotta give a major shout. And honestly, send me more bands, Jed, because I don't want to speak for the guys, but I feel like we had a good time. You know?
Yeah, no, Jed has a lot of stuff coming up in the pipipeline. I don't think I'm allowed to reveal the new name of his band yet. So, but Jed,
he told me, so I can't say it. I'm sworn to secrecy. You know.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, I think we got to keep that down. But yeah, he's playing guitar in Second Nature right now, which is super awesome. Definitely check them out. You like some cool, like emotional metalcore right there, hardcore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't talk about his other projects, but he does have music right now under Alive in Fiction, which I think is super dope. So I think
they're great. Go check him out. Also, shout out to Jerry of Second Nature. I love him too.
Oh yeah, Jerry,
Big love
cool
you.
too.
Jerry's a
Love you.
Jerry Corbo, love those guys, and Ryan's amazing too.
Big shout outs to Ryan. Haven't met Ryan, but love
Cool
him too.
guy, very cool guy.
He's awesome. And go listen to Alone I Stand too while you're at it.
Go check out Alone I Stand again. We've been chilling about it, but now we're gonna tell you to actually go check them out. All of the links are in the description where you can find out about Alone I Stand, their music. Please go buy it if you can on Bandcamp, because obviously you want to support local music just like I do. So go pick it up. If they do have merch, go buy that. If not, go hound them for merch and then buy it. And then also, if you enjoyed this content, share it, like it, subscribe. It always goes a long way. And again, it helps me find out about sick bands like the one you just checked out, Alone I Stand. I already know you checked it out, so why are you still on this video? Go check them out. Anyway, huge thanks to Gray and Ben for coming on. It was a blast.
Yes, thanks, Brandon. This was awesome.
Thanks, man. This is really great.